Hey everybody, Steve here. It's 7 o'clock. The sun is just coming up. I'm here at Eisenhower Medical Center in Rancho Mirage, and I'm waiting for Jim, who's having a procedure done, an MRI, here at the imaging center. And I just dropped him off, and I'm just here in the car waiting for him. He said it's going to be about 45 minutes.
6:30.
Oh, they're not even open?
Well, this says it's 6:30.
He wanted a sedative because he has claustrophobia, and if you've ever had an MRI done, you know that it's that tube they stick you in, and it's very claustrophobic. I get pretty claustrophobic too. So whenever he's had this done in the past, he's just realized it's much easier for him if they just give him a sedative, and then he can just relax and not freak out. So that's why I brought him, and of course after that he's not able to drive, so I'm his driver today. Now, being here at the hospital reminded me of a comment that I received recently. I forget which video it was. I think it was the video about how many prescriptions I now take now after my heart procedure. Someone left a comment. In fact, let me read it to you. I've got it here on my phone. So the comment was from Russell Roberts. He says, Steve, the last year of my wife's life, she had 7 doctors and 42 medications, and she was just 65 years old. Glad you are still with us. Thanks, Russell. And thank you for sharing your wife's memory with us. I'm so sorry for your loss. That just sounds awful. To have that many doctors, that many medications, she must have been going through quite a lot. And yes, these days, 65 is pretty young. It's just so sad to hear stories like that. Your comment got me thinking about doctors, though. When I was growing up, I didn't even have a doctor. If something happened, we'd go to the doctors or we'd go to the hospital, but I don't even remember ever having a primary care doctor or family doctor. I think that's what we called them back then. And I don't even remember ever going to the hospital when I was a kid. I don't even remember going to the doctors when I was a kid. I mean, I probably did, but I don't really remember. I do remember getting shots, vaccinations, but I think we usually got those at school. And I've been getting vaccinations at school since I was, as long as I can remember. But that's about it when it comes to being sick or going to the hospital or going to see a doctor. It really was probably when we moved here to Palm Springs when I turned 50. So that was 20 years ago. I don't really remember why I ended up getting a primary care doctor at that time. Maybe I needed a physical for something, or maybe I just decided it was probably a good idea to start getting an annual checkup. But that could have been it. I honestly, I don't even remember, but I don't even go every year. I think the last time I went to see my doctor, he said, well, it's been like 4 or 5 years since you were here. He goes, you really should come in more often. And so I was like, okay, I'll try to come in every year or every other year. I've been very, very healthy throughout my life, so I've been very lucky in that way. But now that I'm retired, now that I'm 70 years old and I'm retired, I just realized, especially after this comment and a few other comments, there were other comments like Russell's as well, saying that you have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 doctors now. And I got to thinking, well, gosh, I guess I have a few doctors now too. And I realized that I now have 6 doctors. I don't know how that happened. Going from being really healthy and having no doctors to all of a sudden being retired and having 6 doctors. Now, of course, I'm including everybody. I got my list here because I can't even remember. I'm including my primary care doctor, my new cardiologist, my urologist. I've been going to my urologist, I think, for the last 20 years since we've been here because of my kidney stones. I have had kidney stones since my 20s, and my kidney stones, they get so big, they don't pass on their own. And so they need to be surgically removed, or they use lithotripsy, which goes in and breaks them up. Then they turn into sand, and then they can pass. So really, my urologist has been my only real doctor over the past 20 years. And before that, I think I would just go, trying to think, because I have had kidney stones since my 20s. I still don't really remember having a doctor, but I guess when we lived in Orange County, I must have had a couple doctors there, a urologist there. Yeah, I guess I did. Boy, it's funny how you forget things after 20 years. My ophthalmologist is a doctor, and because of my glaucoma, I go in every couple of months to see my ophthalmologist. And recently, I started having heel pain, and I walk a lot, and I was starting to get a lot of heel pain in my left heel, so I went into the doctor, and they did tests, and the podiatrist said I have plantar fasciitis. he said I can probably take care of it just by stretching. So with stretching exercises, he said I might even be able to reverse it. Since a lot of it has to do with just, I guess, your muscles and tendons or whatever, they get really tight and they cause that pain. And so far it hasn't been too bad, and I don't go very often. I've only been to see him twice now. So that's 5 doctors. And then if I include my dentist, who's a doctor, then that's 6. And I go to my dentist twice a year. So including my dentist, I have 6 doctors. I also need to find a dermatologist. You know, as you get older, you start getting spots and bumps and all kinds of weird things. And just to make sure some of the dark spots and bumps and things aren't skin cancer, it's probably a good idea to go in and see a dermatologist. I did go see a dermatologist a couple of years ago, just once. He wasn't all that interested. He was more into cosmetic surgery, and I think a lot of them are these days. So trying to find a dermatologist who's not just trying to make the big bucks with cosmetic surgery, who can just look at all of your spots and things and give you a checkup, that's a little bit more difficult to find. So that would be 7 doctors. So I guess really, I mean, most of these doctors, at least half of these doctors, are really just doctors that I would see on a one-time basis or see once every, few years. So I don't know if I should really consider them, on a list of doctors. My only real doctors now that I'll be seeing on a regular basis are my urologist, who I do see a couple times a year, my cardiologist, who I'll definitely be seeing on a regular basis now, I think, and my ophthalmologist. Definitely keeping track of my glaucoma, making sure I don't have any macular degeneration. My mom suffered from macular degeneration and almost completely lost her eyesight by the time she died. She could hardly see anything because of that. Now, luckily, I don't have any macular degeneration yet, and hopefully I haven't inherited that from her. I don't know if that's something you inherit or not, but the glaucoma she also had, and I do have the pressure in my eyes from the glaucoma. So I take the drops, and those I take every day, prescription medicated drops that I take every day, and I go in every few months, and he checks the pressure and all the other things that they check. Also this year I had my ophthalmologist also did my cataract. I had a cataract in the left eye, and so I had cataract surgery, and I now have an artificial lens in this eye, and now I have 3 stents in my heart arteries, so I'm little by little starting to feel like the bionic man. It's a little scary. Before this year, I've never had any surgeries at all that I can recall, and I've never had anything put in my body. I never had my body cut open, and so this has definitely been a memorable year when it comes to doctors and surgeries. So I guess I really only have 3 doctors that I see on a regular basis for ongoing issues. So maybe that's not too bad, I don't know, at age 70. That was pretty fast, wasn't it?
Yeah, so what time is it?
It's only 6:30 or 7:30.
Yeah, well, I think they took me in early, too. So.
Yeah, we got there early, but that was nice that they went ahead and took you. So how'd it go?
It went fine.
Do you feel very relaxed still?
I definitely feel, relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah, you sound relaxed. Did they stick your head in that MRI?
Well, it was
Or just
close.
your feet? Just your butt?
Well, no, I mean, I was in, all the way, but my head was closer, because, if I looked up, I could see the top of it, but the head was at the opening end of it. I didn't go, head first into the thing.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, they gave me earplugs, and they put the headphones on, and they gave me something that they put in my arm or whatever, I don't know what, and then...
Maybe another sedative. Maybe another sedative.
No, it wasn't, I don't know if it was a dye or something else, or just whatever. Huh. But man, that thing makes a lot of noise. All these different sounds, I guess, is depending upon the angle of the pictures they're taking.
So even with the headphones, you could hear all the stuff?
Oh, yeah. It's probably a good thing I am pretty much deaf in one ear, because, that, just with the thing, because even with the earplugs and the headphones on, you could still hear it. So I can imagine how loud it was without it.
All right, well, good. So, all right, heading home. So that was pretty fast, pretty easy. So how about all of you? How many doctors do you have? And And do you find that since you retired that you've started going to more doctors too? Or is it just me? Feel free to share if you now also have lots of doctors, a lot more doctors than you ever expected to have. I mean, they do say that, your new job once you retire is going to the doctors, and sure feels like that. It seems like I don't think a month goes by without one of us going to a doctor for something. And sometimes it seems like every week we're going for something. It's weird. But fortunately, we have the time now that we're retired to do that. It's become our new hobby, I think. And not a hobby we ever wanted to have. So anyway, if you feel like it, share with us in the comments. Let us know how many doctors you have. Hopefully not too many. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. And if you haven't already subscribed, think about doing that too. So until next time, thanks for watching, everybody.